Yeah, that's the sound of bearings kind of grinding away in there. That's not good. Unfortunately, we don't have a flush sitting situation here. So yes, I had to go and source my own bolts. That way they can be individually bolted. We are at 23 gallons, and that's $100 right there. Not cool. Well, I'm out here using the Suburban like a truck today. This is why I like Suburbans so much, because it is a truck. It's built on the same platform. This is the GMT 800 platform, body on frame, just like the trucks, only this one has a permanent shell, right? It's a perma-cab, or whatever you want to call it, a crew cab with a permanent shell. And I can still tow a trailer full of stuff if I want to, if I need to. So today, you can see all that junk back there. I'm going to be loading that up and taking it to the dump. So I have a whole bunch of stuff that I have to get rid of, and so I borrowed this trailer from a friend. This is a 6x12. I'm gonna be loading all this on there. The only question is, I'm not exactly sure how much I'm allowed to take to the dump in one single day, so I'm gonna have to guess here. All right, this is a pretty good load, I feel like, for the first time going. I have some more room up here. I got a lot of it taken care of. All that wood was part of a couple of shelves that I took out of the garage, and now it's just a bunch of random stuff that's got to get dumped. But I think this might, the majority of it might have to be a second load. I just kind of feel like this is going to be a good first load, and it'll also be a test to see how much I can actually take at one time. So I think I'll probably keep it at this, and then we'll see what happens. Well, you can see the load is now different, and that's because I've already went to the collection center, dropped everything off, which was a breeze, and it was free. That was awesome. And now I have all this carpet and padding loaded up for round number 2. I couldn't film at the collection center. They ran a tight ship. It was clean, and they were all helping me out actually unload, so it wasn't really a filming environment, but I'm happy I was able to get that stuff out of here. And now I have another load of this carpet, and then after that, probably one more load of just random trash and other wood kind of construction materials. I also wanted to show you guys, I just picked up my passenger side lower control arm for the 95 Suburban. They just pressed out the old bushings and pressed in these brand new ones. So this was the last of the control arms for the 95 Suburban to receive new bushings. Now all that's left is to bolt up all the new parts and put everything back together, and I'm really excited about that. All right guys, we are at 23 gallons, and that's $100 right there. Not cool. Definitely hurts to do this, but at least I got no car payment. Well, I'm not sure that even filled up my tank. I think what really happened there was my credit card maxed out at $125 sale. So I don't know, it said 29 something gallons, but the tank I think in this thing is about 32 or 33 or something. So it's pretty much full, and that's fine by me, but that's just insane that I could put in $125 of gas and not even fill my truck up. Well, the day is winding down, and this is almost the last load, but I'm not going to be able to do it till tomorrow. I was able to get 2 loads done today, so all the carpet and everything in the garage is now gone. The entire inside of that garage is clean, and I'll show you that in a second. So I'm hoping they'll let me dump all this tomorrow. So here you can see, this is where all of the other stuff was. There was tons of wood, carpet, all kinds of garbage. I mean, this whole floor, I couldn't even walk here. It was so bad. So I got a little bit of an oil leak. Someone let like a bottle of oil leak out that I got to clean there, but I did a little test spot, and it looks like it's going to clean up pretty good with some good dish soap. We have the Envoy on this side, and now we have lots of space for whatever we want to do. On this side, we're definitely going to be putting some shelves up here, possibly more shelving and stuff there. But I'm pretty stoked because this was a lot of trash. And we've had this trash kind of building over the last like 8 months. So it's been around, and it's been getting really annoying, especially ever since it's been getting to be more and more to where I couldn't use the garage, to where, you know, we had it in the backyard, we had it everywhere. So we are finally getting all of this garbage cleaned up, and I couldn't be happier. All right, coming back to the lower control arm here, I had a slight issue with mounting this lower ball joint. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Flipping it over, you can see the bolts here that I used to mount this lower ball joint. And yeah, everything looks good. They're not tight, of course, but the only thing is these bolts actually didn't come with this ball joint. What came with this ball joint is this thing. This is a bracket with the bolts already installed, and these particular bolts are rated 12.9. And you can see these ones that I'm using are rated 10.9. The reason why I had to use individual bolts rather than this bracket here is, well, because of this. This thing right here, this little bracket you can see running across the bottom of this control arm, and you can see a little tab sticking out here and a tab sticking out on this side. These are actually the steering stops. Each control arm has one, and this is where, you know, when you're steering your vehicle and you feel the steering lock up, like you're turned all the way as far as it can go, it stops because of these right here. This is the stopping point of that knuckle. It hits this and you can't steer any farther. And the problem I'm having is simply this bracket, well, it wants to sit flush, as you can see. Unfortunately, we don't have a flush sitting situation here. I did explore the option of flipping it over and putting the bracket on this side, which seems like it should work. However, due to the angles and how close it is to all of this bracket still isn't sitting flush on there. And that's also partially because of this flare out you see right here that accommodates the ball joint. It's just not letting this bracket sit flush. So long story short, I've had to go and source my own bolts. These are the nuts that came with this bracket, and so I'm reusing those. So yes, I had to go and source my own bolts. That way they can be individually bolted, and it would allow me to not have to make any modifications to the lower control arm, to this bracket here. I did consider cutting this center section out of here, but this is a pretty important part. It's from the factory, and I just figured it'd probably be best not to mess with it. So now that I have the bolt situation figured out and the other passenger side control arm now has all new bushings, I can go ahead and get some bolts for the passenger side control arm, bolt up the two lower ball joints, and get all of this stuff reinstalled back into the 95 Suburban. In case you were wondering, I always do a little bit of research before I do any of this type of stuff. I always research back to my book here, or the internet. And here it says service replacement ball joints come with nuts and bolts to replace the rivets. It also says the bolts are inserted from the bottom. Install the bolts and nuts, tighten the nuts to 45 foot-pounds. So now that I have all of that figured out and done with the lower control arms, I can finally start reassembling everything back onto my truck. Though there is something I just found. Let me show you. Well, here's the hub from the passenger side, and although my truck has very low miles on it, I think about 87,000 or so original miles, it is an older truck, and this is the original hub from the factory from 1995. So take a listen and tell me if you think this sounds a little funky. You guys hear that? Yeah, that's the sound of bearings kind of grinding away in there. That's not good. So I think if I'm doing one, I got to do them both, which means I have to order 2 new hubs, which then means I have to do research into what type of hubs do I get. Do I just go for factory AC Delco? Are those cost effective? Is there any other options out there that are better than factory? You know, the story goes on. That's basically what's been happening to me throughout this entire project on the 95. Every time I think, all right, we got the parts we need, let's get this thing taken care of, well, something else pops up, like these hubs. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad situation to be in. I'm very grateful for having this truck and being able to do this and show you guys and work on it. I'm not complaining at all. It's just, I'm kind of like in a difficult spot. I have to decide what parts need to be replaced, what parts don't necessarily need to be replaced, and for the parts that do, which ones do I get? You guys, I'm sure, have all been there. The constant struggle of wanting or needing to replace certain parts on our used vehicles to make them better, to make them last longer, to make them run better, roll better in the case of this hub here. So anyways, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this vlog style video. If you did, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It helps not only the video, but the whole channel. And also, if you've watched this far and you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. All right, guys, well, don't forget to check out the website, oneroadgarage.com. Check me out on Instagram if you want, at oneroadgarage. And for any other information you might want to know, maybe check down in the description below this video. And don't forget to comment down below. I love reading your comments. It helps make this whole channel and experience a heck of a lot better. All right, guys, I'm Jimmy for One Road, and I will see you in the next one.